Hi, I'm Chris Hanson from Karate Unity. In the beginning, we learn form, but at some point we need to break the form. We need to cross-train in grappling and striking arts, unite with others, travel, train, and teach internationally, express yourself, welcome and respect new ideas of others, blend them into your own. Liberate yourself. Welcome to the Karate Unity. Next up on the Karate Unity video podcast, we have Sensei Mal Sanchez-Jones, Kudo instructor and branch chief of Wales in the UK, talking to us about Kudo and cross-training. Coming up.
Hi, I'm Kudo Mal, branch chief in Wales, UK, and this is Kudo. Kudo is a Japanese full-contact mixed martial art and combat sport developed by Grandmaster Azuma Takashi. In my opinion, Kudo is a way for martial arts to test the efficiency of their technique and their ability, as it's the closest thing you're going to get to a real fight. The safety equipment ensures that we don't get soft tissue injury and allows us to go about our lives. Welcome to Gojin and Kudo Academy.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. We are live from Toronto, Canada, in a city called, small town actually, called Stouffville, Ontario. Welcome to the channel. Chris Hanson here from Karate Unity. You can find us here at Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, along with karateunity.ca. I will leave all the information in the show notes. This channel focuses on functionalizing karate, my functional take anyway, through cross-training and other arts and combat sports. I believe in unifying, bringing people together. I say unify, train it all, and get better. It's really that simple. I mean, we all go to school, we all have different teachers, and at the end of the day, they're putting all their goodness in our brains. We're supposed to sift through all of that and make some sense of it to become better. Today's focus is not about me, but it's about a special guest I have. His name is Mal Sanchez-Jones. He's based in South Wales, I believe, in the UK. He is a Kudo expert, cross-trained in various combat sports and arts, ranging from boxing, Muay Thai, Judo, I believe. And we're gonna find out everything about him in the next couple of seconds. So first of all, thanks guys for coming. We're gonna start off this with a rapid fire interview. We'll see how fast this goes. Most of them are yes or no answers. They're mostly yes or no, okay, or one-liners. Okay. Just answer it as best as you can. We're going to go as quick as we can. All right? Ready?
Yeah, man. Yeah, do it.
All right. What's the first thing you grab first thing in the morning?
Oh, my God. My wife.
All right. Excellent. Who is your biggest inspiration in life?
My instructor, Brendan Simmons.
Nice. What do you think people notice most about you?
My nose.
What do you hope people notice most about you, I should say? Yeah.
Friendly, approachable.
Right. What is your biggest weakness or flaw?
Sugar.
Okay. What is your biggest strength?
Passion.
What to you is perfect or most ideal age to be?
30.
30. A lot of people are saying that. Okay. High school, awesome or terrible?
Sucked, bad, terrible.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Okay.
Easy.
Why do you love your best friend so much?
Someone to talk to.
Okay. Where do you want to go more than any other place in the world?
Oh, it's a tough one. Egypt.
Beaches or snow?
Oh, beaches, easy. Okay. South rule, south.
What is your absolute number one biggest pet peeve? And be honest.
There's loads of them. BS.
Okay, BS.
People, BSers. Okay. I'm trying to be polite.
All right. What is one personality trait you simply have no time for?
Big head.
Ego, right?
Not physically, right? Not physically.
Do you believe in something after death?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
How did someone instantaneously get on your good side?
Give me sugar.
How about your bad side?
Talk badly to my family, friends.
Yeah. We've talked about that before. Family's important.
Yeah.
How do you hope you're described by people when you're not around?
In one word,
Up to you.
I would say that, like, you know, infectious, as in not as in, you know, anything bad, as in personality and friendly and welcoming.
Yeah, of course. What is your least favorite attribute about yourself?
Oh, my hands, eczema.
Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
Yeah,
Okay.
not what I do, but yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Do you or do you not believe in ghosts?
I don't.
All right. Odd numbers or even numbers? What's your preference?
Odd numbers for some reason, I don't know why.
Okay. Do you believe in organizing your life or just letting things happen?
But every day, you know, needs some organization.
Do you prefer logic or creativity?
Creativity.
Nice, good answer. Do you trust someone until proven otherwise, or do you think trust has to be earned no matter who you're with?
I think trust's got to be earned.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you question things even if it will bother someone, or do you just try not to rock the boat?
I question people all the time.
Which is more preferable to you, being nice or being fair?
Oh, it's got to be being fair, right?
And last but not least, here it is. This is the closer before we get into the meat and potatoes. Okay. Describe what would bring you the ultimate happiness in life.
Happiness is the day, right? It's not a destination. So
Yeah.
every day for me it's got to be a happy day. So I don't see it as a destination. We're on a bit of a roller coaster. You know, tough couple of years, but every day's a happy day, right?
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, that's it. We're done. Bye, guys. Thanks.
But then, see you later. Right? Take it easy.
Too late. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so now what we're going to do is I have a slew of questions that I'm going to give you a chance to chat, open your mind and heart all about Kudo. I'm very interested in it because, you know, I love the whole cross-training concept. I love combat sports. I love anything that involves making you athletic, allowing you to be, allowing you to test ranges, right? And just, you know, I just love it all, man, you know? And so, like, just a little bit about me. As you know, I cross-train in combat sports like boxing, Muay Thai, Savate. I've trained with a few Kyokushin players, so I've got a little bit of comparison between Kyokushin and Kudo. I'm so glad we're going to have this conversation. But before we begin, you can refresh my memory and the memories of everyone else too. How we met, and how we met basically was interesting.
I don't name the shame now, right? But I'm going now. See you later.
And I'm gonna. It's not. Your wife needs to know this. Your wife needs to know this.
Yeah, no, I know. She knows anyway. I tell her.
No, I'm just kidding.
She doesn't realize. I tell her everything. She just she has to close off sometimes, I think.
Yeah. So in all seriousness, Karate Unity is about taking ideas that I've trained in and kind of it's a journey, right? So I'm trying to look at stuff that, to be honest with you, I've told you this, and I told all my friends online here. A lot of it I don't understand. I can't make any sense of these movements unless I'm using it in play, right? And a lot of the times, I mean, you know how it is, man. You can teach a technique in class to all your students, but then when they're actually doing it, all these adjustments have to be made because they're getting pressured, they're getting hit, they're getting taken down, levels are changing, you're getting tired, or, you know, say equipment malfunction, you got to work around it, you know, all that stuff, man, to say the least, right? So my thing on my channel is, you know, I'm taking ideas, I test it, I put it out to the training, and I kind of give my take on it. So I love this guy, BJ Penn. This is the book I have, Mixed Martial Arts, the Book of Knowledge. One of the things that I looked at was this particular technique right over here. So this is the thing that caused us to talk. Okay. And so as you can see over here, basically you said that I was out to lunch. And
yeah, I said you're stretching, mate. You're stretching.
So you know, as you can see over here, Buddy throws a punch. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as you can see over here, he's dropping his weight. He's in he's dropping his weight. You can call it a Shiko dots, Kiba dots. Karate guys would call it whatever they want, right? But it's a squat of some sort. And then what he's doing is he's taking his arms. One arm is placed on the shoulder, one arm's on the neck, and then he ends up using his footwork to turn. and take the guy down. It's basically, again, it's like a takedown defense, right? And then the other one is pretty much the same thing, and he's turning against the shoot, right? As you can see, right? So all I said was on there was, like, I had a light bulb. I get really excited when I see this kind of stuff because I'm always making connections to karate, right? So when I'm seeing, when I see this, I've literally used this the way he's done it. Guys have come in and I've kind of crashed in, you know, and I've manipulated the hand, and then I just went to work. Or somebody's coming in at me and I've kind of moved the hands out of the way, and we've got these movements, right? So I like to use those movements to clear. So if someone's hands are in the way or they're coming in for something, I kind of use that as a parry to get in here, right? Kind of like this. And I'm using the same movements in our katas. And then I'm going into control head or throwing a knee or takedown or whatever, right? So yeah, so from your point of view, how do you think this came down? Because I showed you this, and what were you thinking?
Well, I just thought it was bullshit. To be honest, it's like I said before, it's one of those times where you just look at something and you're thinking, man, I'm just fed up of seeing people putting things out as this is what it is, or maybe stretching the truth a little bit. Yeah. Because I'm from a karate foundation, and my highest grade is in karate, and I'm very protective of karate. But when you start trying to guess certain things, or you step outside of it, like I've been taught Shuto from here, as in this one covering here and this one coming down here. I've been taught Shuto as like slope Kyokushin type ways. Right. And it doesn't really matter too much, because this is like what you're doing like that. This cover and then coming in and using this for the elbow. Yeah. It's fundamentally all of those things are fantastic. It's just when somebody says person A attacks person B, defends, and then I'm like, forget it. Just forget it. What I liked about your answer to me, and that's why the conversation carried on. I made you feel guilty. Yeah, you did guilt me, but you give me a good answer. And it was about how you feel, right? I killed you with kindness, bro. Yeah, no, not at all. You know what you're talking about. That's important. Because if someone comes at me, I've got to think about the eyes less than the way I feel in my body. Yeah. So if that one comes down here, it comes down that way, and this one is kind of there. Yeah. I'm not going to argue whether your hand should be there or whether it should be back there. Yep. It makes no difference, because that could change the way that you move someone. Yeah. I'm very similar in that way. Respect is that I used the pragmatic ways of actually taking it, and I'm desperate. Like karate can do this, So I want all the karate guys to win in the UFC. Yeah. I'm like that. Come on, man, you can do this, because if you start somewhere and you have a foundation of that, that's what gives it you. Yeah. You add to it, like you were talking about in your way of understanding karate. Yeah. So I think it's fundamentally you've got a cross train, and that's another thing that we agree on. Well, I knew we could get along the moment we clarified that, because you see, I already knew, like, I was coming from your place already at that snapshot in time. But mind you, it took me about 15 to 20 years to play with guys like you and all these other guys to realize, getting beaten up, getting humbled, getting tapped on a regular basis. And bro, that happens to me all the time right now too. I can't wait to go back and get tapped and submitted and all that. I'm missing it, bro. I'm missing it. These techniques here, to your point, I mean, this guy here, he's just showing you particular ideas of how to do it. But if you read the narrative, it says you got to change things up on the dime. You have to feel. It's all about feeling, right? These are just ideas and snapshots, and so when I saw this, the only thing I said, the only similarity between this picture and what I have noticed is this form, right? Mm-hmm. But then I went on to say, and what I do too here with all my guys and in my seminars, is that you just take these ideas, but you have to change it. You have no choice. Like I've been to so many these bunkai seminars where they do all these beautiful flow drills. And one guy throws a punch and it's like parry, hit the inside, trap, strike, throwing a knee and all this stuff. And then what happens? The guy just stands there. He's not moving, right?
So, you know, I made it simple. I wasn't making fun of anyone. I just wanted to show a scientific fact, objectivity. Do you mind if I film this? I just want to film something. I want to film a point. And the point is how techniques can change even with 10% resistance. What I did was, out of fairness, I told my partner, I said, listen, I'm going to come at you with a couple of things. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm just going to come at you, and I just want you to defend it. But I want you to give me like just 10%. So the technique was this. Hands were up. All I did was parry the hand and hit. And if he struck the hand, I'm going to trap the hand and hit him again and go for the neck pinch. Okay, so it's kind of like this. The technique was the guard's up. I'm going to trap that hand. I'm going to hit. Okay, just come in and hit. And if he parries that hand, I'm going to use this bottom hand to kind of jam and push and then get his head and throw a knee, right? So so the moment I did that, okay, as soon as I grabbed his hand, okay, he felt it. He dropped levels right away. So then I managed to hit him, but it grazed off of his head. So I went boom, because as soon as I touched his hand, he just went in, he shot in for a single, and he turned the corner on me, and I was on my butt. Done.
Yeah, of course.
But now if I did resist him, I couldn't say what I'm going to do, but I would have to feel what he's going to do. So let's just say if things went exactly the way I just told you, okay, if I carried that hand and I went to hit and he changed levels, I would probably step off, or I would, you know, I would sprawl. I would sprawl and try to get him back, right? And it's a fight. Then it's a fight, right? This is the problem with a lot of these techniques. They're taught in isolation, and there's not enough sparring or freestyle drilling.
No, you got to fight. I mean, you have to. There's no way around it, because like if you come through martial arts in the 80s, 90s, you know, whatever, from that sort of point on, you would have had to travel. You would have had to train a lot of people. You would have had to upset a lot of people, a lot of instructors, to be able to gather knowledge. And then you still, even then, would have not been able to get a level of skill which is holistic or rounded. So what I say is, like, now, like, I'll fight when I have to fight now, and I'll spar in the club when I can. My passion is for the guys that are in the club, because that's where they come. They come for me to teach them, right? So if I spend all my time jumping on the line with them, then nobody's teaching them. So that's what's important to me. But if you are not, if you're separating your training, so if you're still going BJJ and when you go into karate or you go into kickboxing or whatever, separate, and you're not bringing them together, it's kind of a useless time, because you're going to be told, don't do that in this one. They come and you're going to freeze, right? Because you're either going to fight, flight, or freeze. And if you haven't had the experience, you freeze every time. If you freeze once, the next time it happens, you might have like a little bit of a murmur and move away. And then eventually you get to the point that you'll have a productive response. So I think that's where, when I was teaching karate and kudo, separate things, I was starting to realize that the karate guys were like, I'm coming to karate because it's safer, because you're not making as much contact, you don't spar as much. They avoided something until they realized, actually, I got to fight. So they come in and they say, actually, there's not much difference between the two, really, because you're mixing it up and you're seeing what's happening. So the way I look at it from an age point of view is that the earlier the better, the more contact the better, to get the kids the skills to be able to defend themselves, to have the confidence in school, to be able to deal with the bully, and not have the issues later in life that other people have. I mean, I've heard just stories about, you know, ears, and my eczema is still horrific now, but, you know, kids are mean. They're really mean. And I still carry that around with me. So whenever I see any of the kids that was in my year, and they see me now, they don't even realize that they were so mean, because I've spoken to some of them about that. And they're like, what? And I'm like, listen, dude, just, like, don't talk to me like that again. I'm not the kid you were in school with. You know, because I have the confidence to do that now. But, so you skill the kids, you get them through this much, and then they don't want to fight. Because all the kids that I'm teaching in Kudo, they come in and go, Sensei, there's a kid in my class, and this happened, I did this. The teacher patted me on the back, and away I went. Because the teachers actually want kids to stand up for themselves, not to fight, to protect each other. To be the right, to be that guy, to be that friend, you know? So when you get to, let's say that you asked me about age. When you get to 30, you should have done your time, man.
Yeah.
You should have been on the mat, you should have done that. And then you can then start doing the drills, keeping yourself in the club, engaging with, the groups. That's combat.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking chokes, whether you're talking just the striking. If you just spend too much time striking,
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
If you're practicing grappling,
Yeah.
you're probably going to get caught. Nobody's bulletproof. I just don't understand what people are stylizing, because nothing's good when it comes to reality.
Tell us, what is Kudo to you? I mean, you mentioned before it's like a concept to train other things, and I see karate the same way. I mean, I didn't see it before like that. I see karate now, and my vision. And for others who don't know, karate, empty hand way, it's a template. It's like I got my hands open. My hands represent my learning. It's open to you. Whatever you put in here, a weapon, a different technique, or whatever, it's going to take the shape of whatever you're giving me. I'm going to take it and make it mine, right? And then as a result of that, it's an open heart. In order for that to happen, though, I have to be open to what you're giving me, and I have to immediately make that decision right off the bat, even before you give it to me, that I'm going to receive it and I'm going to actually use it. Because like we said before in our interview, I mean, the only way that we're going to get along is if I allow you to. The only way that I'm going to learn from you is if I allow you to. Some people are just not teachable. You just can't show them anything, right? Because they've shut off. They've just blocked you, right? Like, so, I mean, that's what karate is to me. It's a template. So, I mean, for me to say that my stuff is karate, it's got some resemblance. It's got all the keyhones are there and stuff. But when I apply it, it looks totally different. Like when I go to different seminars and stuff, as I said to you, people can't figure out what I've trained in because I move very differently, like as opposed to the stereotypical robotic alphabetic kind of move, which to be honest, that's not how karate was in my understanding, but that's all I ever see. But anyway, I just want to know what's your take on Kudo, and what do you see it as? Is it a style? Is it a concept? Like, what's it to you?
One of the criticisms I had from the Grandmaster was that online I put somewhere that was a Kudo black belt, right? And he said, no, you're a Daido Juku Kudo black belt, which means that I'm steadying the path, and that's his vision.
Yep.
And the Kudo is that word around the world means the sporting platform. The concept of Kudo is like, right, we go to every competition, right, because it's a sport. So when people say, oh, well, it's Kyokushin, it's Kyokushin with a head guard on. It's completely not, because even though Zuma was one of Masayama's students, and his background karate, he also had a background in judo, but they're all cross training, right? And now it's gone. It's like anything that's so successful, it's grown.
Oh, I agree.
And you get it right.
I agree.
And it evolved,
I would say it's
right?
very Kyokushin. If you compare the two, I mean, you do it much better than me. Very different. In fact, limited. Like what you guys would have more options in your counters and things, and Kyokushin rules don't have that. I don't think.
Well, I mean, the majority of Kyokushin guys, they've got like a little bit more confidence in themselves, so they're not hiding behind the style, right? Because they have a lot to lose. Like the same thing with the karate. I mean, I never had that label, right? Because I've heard quite a lot of people talk about Kyokushin, and it was the name, right? If you didn't do Kyokushin, you're crap, because you're a crap karate style, because it's the strongest guy, and so on and so on. And that's not any disrespect to them, but I've come through all my guy grades with that kind of level of prejudice. The way, like, the pain, pain, no gain. Yeah. I was taught no pain, no brain. So in other words, if you get kicked and it hurts, oof. So, and then when you get to the part that you've lost your temper, you don't feel pain in the same way. You're going to go at the person in front of you until they're on the ground.
Yeah.
Right now, if I want to attack you, and then you say you can't grab, you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't punch me in the face. Yeah. Like I'm thinking, how do I fight, right? How do I fight?
Yeah.
And there's the frustration, and that was the thing that kind of got to me. I thought, well, what's the point of doing a sport if that's not going to help me for real?
Yeah.
So Zuma said, Izuma Takashi said to Masayama, like, we should be head hitting. So basically,
is he still alive? Is that teacher still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, recently, like when I say last year, myself and some of my students, you know, they're very much friends. When I say students, that's just our place here, but they're very close to me. They're my support network. When we go to see the Grandmaster, it was a big thing when, you know, I got all my students to wear white belts because we had this kind of situation where we had to overcome a little bit of politics, which we did, which was good.
Yeah.
But when we sat there and talked about it, originally, basically, when it went to this division of Kyokushin, half went with him, half went with Matsui in the IKO. Obviously, that was where Oyama's lineage came on. Now, all the Kyokushin guys come across, they're some tough guys, really, really tough guys, so well conditioned.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from that because it's not. But when you talk about conditioning, you're talking about the body. You don't condition the face, right? So I think it was a very clever thing for him to do, is to get this head guard and put it on, because now you can involve head shots, which changes the game, right? Yep. And then every Japanese kid goes to school and learns judo. Right. So it's naturally gonna happen, right? Yeah. And you can say about karate throws and things like that. And I'm a big passion, you know, a big person driving karate throws as well. But you know, that is, so for Kudo for me was, right, one, people were looking at the stripes on your belt, right? Yeah. So recently, I joined the pragmatic guys in karate in the UK. Yep. And in the BCKA. And it was fantastic, right? And they're a great bunch of guys, and I'm hoping I can work with them a little bit more. Yeah. So I get awarded a sixth dan within karate, which is a real honour. I'm sat here with a belt on.
Congrats. One stripe. Congrats, by the way.
Right? Yeah. One stripe. And I'll tell you why. It's because when I wear the karate belt, all of a sudden, you got every style of karate, all the new styles of karate. Yeah. And everybody goes, it's like that bad Bruce Lee, like, what's your style? You know? Yeah. And then more people sit around talking about realistic things. Yeah. When, you know, in Kudo, someone says, oh, right, yeah, and you teach them something, you know, they're practically going, there we go, you have that. You know, there's your gloves. Show me. Yeah. And you can't go, well, I'll tell you what, if I did this for real, I would, you know, you'd be on the floor knocked down. And they go, go on, do it. So all you're doing, you're taking away throat as a target, because in Kudo, you can hit to the groin. Yeah. You know, if there's a size difference, you can still hit to the groin. You know, there's very little that you can't do. I mean, there's simulations, like, I don't know if you've seen some of the Kudo footage, when the guy's downed, you can't just run up and start laying punches in. Right. Because the etiquette and the live kind of combat allows you to go, actually, the guy's down, man. You've done your job. Yeah. You know, so you stimulate. Yeah. That I could be hitting the person, right? Yeah. When you're mounted, you can't go full pelt because the person's head's against the floor. Yeah. And if you imagine they've got this on, their head's being crushed into the floor like this. Yep. So it's dangerous, right? But the person on the floor can hit up as hard as he likes because he's defending himself. Perfect. So there's some brilliant rules in that. Like. See, the way I see it is, I really like Kudo and you know, if I want to use the broad term MMA to begin with, like when MMA became MMA with the Gracies and all that stuff, and for the record, we were doing what MMA was way before the Gracies. Like we would just naturally just say to ourselves, a lot of the stuff we're doing in the dojo is sterile. It's too clean. You know, we need to mix things up. Well, hey, man, you know, there's a new martial arts store that opened up. You want to go get some gloves? Do you want to go get some mouth guards? Just try it out, man. We're like 13, 14 years old. You know, we didn't have internet back then. We're just like writing each other's names on pieces of paper in the change room and say, yo, man, I'm gonna come to your house and ask my mom see if I can come. I'm gonna come to your house. We're gonna try out the headgear and the mouth guard. So anyway, this was like, dude, this was like in the late 70s, early 80s. We were doing this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, MMA became a thing. But I'm thinking, thank goodness, because, you know, the way I see it is the only way to really test your stuff is if you're become a criminal. You know, if we go out there and pick fights and, you know, just go raw and just beat everybody, right? Like, or try to. But you can't. So you get equipment. You approximate all the ranges. You know, if you're doing stuff that's clinch range, long range, short range, medium range, you're practicing takedowns. You're conditioning yourself. I see Kudo having all of that stuff, right? Yeah, it does. you know, what I'm saying about this is I'm almost like the egotistical part of Kudo, right?
Yeah.
And they're not going out there, and the majority of the stuff, you know, the guys are maybe not pushing it as much as they could, because it has mechanisms involved, like any big organization where there's a certain amount of control over that. And the sales of it, like in the stuff I put out, you know, none of us take the guys here and the girls and everybody here. When I say guys, I mean obviously both genders.
Yeah.
We have such a laugh that it's infectious, you know. And I put it online, and we just look stupid because we're having a laugh, right? Because it doesn't really matter. Because when it comes down to it, I've taught girls in this dojo. My one female fighter, the eldest one, she's just literally crossing the line into adulthood now, undefeated in everything I put her in.
Amazing.
And to the point that I put her
Homegrown, like
into
did she come to you first, or did she have training before? Is she like
No,
homegrown
she's
from your
been with
dojo?
me since the beginning.
Oh,
But she was learning karate originally,
Yeah.
and she's half Chinese. I know you like that. And you know, she's like absolutely like you know, she's methodical, very intelligent girl. She, you know, she wants to be a dentist. You know, but you put her on the mat, she's an absolute animal.
She's a beast.
You know, and that's after that's for you, by the way. And the thing is, like, I was taking her to places where rule sets were totally against her. You know, it was like, take her to a Kyokushin competition. You can't punch, you can't do this, you can't do that. And she stood there and she's just kind of looking like, what do I do? You know, and still doing well. So I think when you have this kind of mindset of a fight's a fight, and, you know, someone can take away things, they'd say, what's the rule sets? And I'd say, well, just fight and let the referee tell you what the rules are. Because that's what the referee's there for, right?
Perfect that you talked about this. It'll bring me to my next question. So how do you encourage, oh man, this is a great topic. How could I phrase this? Okay, so how do you get women more to come to this kind of thing? How do you encourage girls, like girls in particular? Because I want to get my daughter in it. I think any woman should know Kudo. I think women should know self-defense. Yeah. Women should know karate. Women should know something. But how do you encourage more women? And then second question, how strategically as a coach, how do you, what are some things do you tell your female students to not give up, to like be calm and just keep moving forward? Like what are some things that you do?
Well, the first thing, you know, I thought when you were going to ask me this, I thought, I haven't got a clue, because I haven't got any women in the adults class. And then I thought, well, actually, it's not going to be long before I've got women in my adults class, because my actual junior class is a pretty good split. And I was like, well, the first thing that's been bringing more girls into it is actually having female role models. So actually having girls that know how to fight, right?
Yeah.
And my next Natasha is a girl called Emma, and she was coming through, and you watch the parents are like, oh my God, have you seen that girl? Like, she's fighting against a boy who's much bigger than her. She can defend herself. And her mum put so much trust in me to be able to immerse this girl in skills. And she said to me, it's not just because she can defend herself, it's the impact it has on her life and her confidence level and so on. So I'm saying to that, but I know that mum wants her to be able to defend herself in rape scenarios where it hits the ground. She knows that, like, if a guy comes up to her, she's going to know exactly where to hit him.
Yeah.
You know, she's going to know actually that she's confident enough to be able to walk away from any situation.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Most of the fights you can walk away. It's the macho side of you as a guy that wants to be able to stand your ground.
Yeah.
But they've got confidence to be able to move away. You know, and I say to the girls, actually I target the boys a little bit more, and, you know, for the guys from the club that were watching, they'll to back me up on this, is that I turn around to the boys and saying, do you disrespect girls then? Is that you've got a bit of an issue fighting with girls? Is, you know, are you discriminating against them? Because she's here to learn to defend herself against girls as well as boys, right? So the way you're fighting with the girls, so I'm not expecting the guys to be, you know, literally laying into them, but the majority of the juniors that are fighting against Emma, for instance, they fight her like she's a boy, because she can fight. And what happens someone there, like I'm sure you do with anyone that you teach, is that you're going to go to that person and you're going to say to them, I believe in you.
Yeah.
Because that's what my instructor said to me. I believe in you. Forget all of this. You can do this. And every time they get upset, like any traumatic situation, the person that's there helping you back to your feet becomes the person that guides you through life.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Yeah, that's amazing. Like, I've seen. I don't know you personally, but I feel like I do just from talking to you, and I've seen your coaching style. I just get warm when I see your training, man, because you're a good coach, hands down. You're a really good coach. I mean, honestly, I feel from my feedback from being a public servant here as a teacher, I get a lot of parent feedback from the kids too, and I'm on the right path too, but I'm always running into, like, I take it as a challenge when I can't get through to a student, and I'm thinking, why is that, and so I'm always looking for better coaching techniques, just to wrap up on that part, coaching, like, to me, man, like, martial arts is like, it's like a network of life coaches. One of the only places where you can be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Let's cut to the chase, right? If you're practicing karate and then you're taking away all of these things and you're telling yourself every single day that my karate, in a real situation, I do this and stuff, it's absolute bollocks, because you're going to get taken down.
Never know.
There's teenagers out there, right, in this street that we got this dojo, that have done a bit of boxing, they've done a bit of this, that they're a lot more skilled than someone who's doing fitter
nowadays.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that if you got, and we're picking on karate guys, and I'm a karate guy, so sometimes I feel like I can pick on them a little bit more, right? Yeah. Is that I thought I would train for, say, like 20 years, and I'm thinking to myself, and like from the fights that I've had, real fights, if we want to call it that way, or when I put the head guard on in Kudo and stuff, and you got your head smashed in, you'll realize it's very similar to having your head smashed in for real. Yeah. Because besides the impact feels different, right? Yeah. Yeah. And being overwhelmed in the emotions of absolutely getting taken to school is exactly the same. Yeah. Right? So when you wear a belt and then you're going around pulling the belt and all the rest of it, like you're going to be the big badass and stuff like that, you're creating this image of yourself in your mind that eventually loads of insecurities, right? Oh yeah. And I knew that I was going to get my ass kicked if I ever really had to put my. So what you do is you position yourself in arts that you're never going to get challenged, right? And you can collect belts and you can do those things. Yeah. But the reality is, and this is what we said about life, is that like the guys don't come to the club for the belts; they come to the club because of each other.
Yeah, each other. And training, of course.
So the belt is for the kids, is my impression now. Yeah. And actually, some of the things, like some of the people going, I want to take karate back to what it used to be. Yeah. And that's what they're doing. And they're not going to be able to do that. They need to be thinking forwards of going, actually, if we don't go forwards, this is all going to, and your belt means nothing. If there's no karate, your belt means nothing.
Oh, I know. No, you're right, man. It's performance.
And for Kudo, for instance, in the UK, the reason I'm pushing so hard now is because I want them to see a different part of it. Because, Kudo, it's not just the fighting out when you go out and you compete. It's like anything, you have to learn all of these things before you get there. And competing is optional. You don't go along to a Kudo club and then expect it that next week you're going to be fighting full contact in the World Championship. So, I think the beauty of Kudo as the banner is that internationally we get to travel a lot. We meet some fantastic people, but everybody's got something to say when they're coaching, and nobody's having to stick to labels like judo, karate, Thai boxing. They just say this is how it works, and this is how it could work with this. Yeah. And you're a bigger guy, so this might work for you, but you're a smaller guy, this won't work for you. Yeah. And there's no excuses made, because I love the traditions of Japan. I think the way that they go about life in general, all of those things, taking the gi off me, stripped that away, and that's why it was very important to me. So I've still got all the traditions, and then I've got this banner, and guess what? I'm not a big fish. I'm a very small fish. Yes, in Kudo, like I've not seen one Kudo black belt that can't bang. We all know black belts mean different things in different styles. It's not all about fighting, right? We're talking about a fighting system. So I'm happy to wear the first dan in Kudo. And a lot of people say to me, why the hell do you want to wear the first dan when you're a lot higher grade in karate. And I said, because that's a different system.
Yeah, different.
You know?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
completely
exactly.
different.
Yeah, man.
But just like I said, it's liberating. I can actually go to a Kudo setting, and they look at your black belt, and they're like, you can say, he's black belt, so I'm going to fight you like a black belt.
Yeah.
So you got to have game, right?
Yeah. Every single art, and I say this all the time. Okay, everything's beautiful, everything's amazing, everything's visceral, it's vicious, and it's artistic all at the same time. But you got to know how to train it. You know, you try trapping a punch. Like, I used to be a big trapper. Like, I had a passion for Wing Chun, for Southeast Asian arts like Silat, and I still do. I kind of like it. It's fun, right? But all of that stuff needs to be, I'd say most of it goes thrown out the door when someone's coming at you with sheer strength, and they're changing on you, like, and they're squirmy, or, you know,
it's context, isn't it? It's context, because, you know,
trapping has its place. Like, if I wanna like tie up a guy's hand on the ground, I would maybe do a quick switch and that's it. But I'm not gonna have time for I'm not gonna have time for that stuff, right? But it's good to train. It's good to train. It builds attributes, right? But at the end of the day, you have to spar. You gotta have someone else, you know, counter you. So
I wear my head guard when I'm training.
How is that good for breathability, strikeability, safety? If you can comment on the mask.
Well, I mean, it's called the NHG, which is the Neo headgear, right? I don't know if you see that, right? So that's the NHG, right?
Right.
And the first thing about the head guard is the peripheral vision. So most head guards don't have this peripheral vision.
Ah.
Yeah. So if you put a head guard on normally, this part here is blocked. So you got you're basically blunted, right? And then the next part is usually there's a hole by here, right? So you can see out.
Yes.
So what you have to do to be able to see is tilt your chin down to be able to see.
Yeah.
So, which is good because you keep your chin down, right?
Yeah.
And and you can use the shoulders to protect, but it's not optional. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind of forced along a path to defend yourself rather than choosing to put your chin down. And that's something that obviously is a bit of an issue, because I started the same way. I've got, one sec, I'll grab it.
Yeah, man, go for it.
So this is the first head guard I started off with.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
I used to use hockey masks, bro. I used to use hockey masks. Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
So, you know, then it's, you know, it gives you an idea. These are good for self-defense stuff, right? Because you get tunnel vision. And you forget about everybody else, so you're not safe. So for the Kudo, it's like it moves a bit, right? And people, depending on who you talk to, cheat a little bit, and they tend to loosen theirs up a little bit. But there's a number of rules around, like any sport. You can bend the rules a little bit, and everybody kind of does their thing. But this is the back of the head guard, which gets tied up. So this bit gets pulled in. Yeah, there. It's nice and tight there.
Yeah.
And then there's the loop here, which goes across the back of the neck, right?
Yep.
So this bit holds it tight, and then this bit holds it on.
Okay.
So basically, when you go to ground now, this is not coming off if you tied it correctly.
Right.
The problem is that, you know, not everybody ties them up solid, because you need to be able to get them off. So if someone gets knocked out, and you've got double knotted it and stuff like that.
Yeah, you need to get
it off.
Yes.
But there's a million reasons I like this. You know, like when you train with it on, it's like altitude training.
Yeah.
If you breathe, if you puff like this will steam up.
Oh, it will.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got to kind of learn to breathe through the nose and learn to control your breathing and keep your breathing down, because then you can use this a little bit more. It's, you know, the only, I suppose the cons to this is that people will stand and take the odd shot where, you know, if you didn't have this on, you wouldn't, if you understand.
Yes.
You know, so like I tell the guys to move all the time, and ricochet shots still kind of cause the problem to the neck. And it's solid. So this glass here, there's some cheap imitation.
Is that plexiglass, or what is that?
Yeah, it's a plastic, like perspex type thing, but it's like an egg shape. So if you think about like an egg's integrity, it's like you can't break it, right? Yeah. They do shatter if you get caught at a peach. You know, they will shatter, but then you unstitch it and put another plate on.
Oh, nice.
So it's, you know, it's a versatile bit.
So I want to know what your take is on Kudo as being an ideal or effective reality testing activity.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm in it. You know, I've not found anything that I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how can I still practice kata for myself and still teach it? You know, I'm trying to teach less kata to kids now, and more for those that are older, because obviously, you know, you want to get as much of the fighting skill involved when they're younger. You need in everything to pressure test. That's why, like BJJ, they can do it all the time. Judo, you know, they're fighting all the time.
Yeah.
Karate spend way too much time not fighting. You know, unless they've changed their whole club to be about sport.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance. I just want to add to your point. I jotted down an idea where you talked about how you kind of veer away from kata and you're showing a lot of the fighting skills, and then you kind of separate that out to the adults where you show the kata and stuff. And kata, it needs to evolve. Like now, I'm a school teacher. I've been doing it for the last 14 to 16 years. And so the mindset of a young kid, of the youth now, in general, actually, even adults, the attention spans, I think, has reduced, right?
Yeah.
Because of the information age, because of so much access to information, our attention spans, there's an information buffet at the fingertips, right? So whenever we're teaching someone now, I think we've evolved into just get to the point, you know. Teach me little chunks, right? And then you can put it all together. So I know that for a fact. As a school teacher, I lose kids in 5 minutes. I have to keep 10 minutes. They're done. So within 5 minutes, it's that threshold. You know, I have to get to the point right away, and then get him into exercising, like the exercises, like the drills, like quick. I have to get them to that quick. So having said that, kata to me is information overload. And think about it. You're dealing with a kata on average has about say 20 to 25 moves, at least in Matsubayashi, right? That's a lot of memorization, a lot of steps and changes. So what I do is, like, my Kempo instructor told me this. He goes, bro, before I die, what I want you to do is make one fundamental change in your Kempo training. He goes, strip away kata, look at all the katas and just keep the ones that overlap. Keep maybe about 4 or 5. Then what I want you to do next is just start teaching the basics like crazy, and then show them the application right away so they get it.
Yeah, like it's information overload. They're overstimulated. Yeah. So the way I teach the kids is like, right, we're doing this, take a look at this, and I don't even care if they watched it, because I'm getting them started straight away. Yeah. So they're like that, and then they go, oh, and then they go over, and then they stand there, and then they're like, I don't know what to do, and then I go, give it a go, and I walk past them, and then they'll go like, oh, and then they'll try something, and then I go, stop, come back, and then we'll do it again, and then they look this time, you know, and then it's like, it's not your kind of standard teaching model, right? Right. Because what you're doing is you're literally getting the jump leads and going pop on one side of the head, pop on the other side, and then you're shocking them into, and you can only do that by having 2 people do something that's meaningful.
The application, you get to understand it in the application. It's there, right? And like the PJ, shout out to PJ, my man in Australia there. A wonderful guy. I think you guys are friends too. PJ just said there's truth in application in the school setting. You know, kids will systemically understand. It's like a light bulb will go off when they start to see why something works and how something works. You know what I mean? As soon as they see how it works, then they kick in. But you try to teach them the theory. It's a bit of balance. You got to balance it, right? So I want to know. Tell us, what's your vision for Kudo? So what's your plan? Say within the next. What's your 5-year plan, if you want to share that? What's going on?
Well, immediately it's just get people to go, what is it, right? And change the opening door, if you like, and people going, what is Kudo? How do I get involved? What's the nitty gritty of it? Does everybody spend half their life knocking each other's heads off and so on? So make it a little bit more palatable for people to actually have a proper taste of what it is. So I want to get myself around the UK as much as possible. When we talk about Kudo, we're talking about a platform for fighting. right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about a competition arena. So what I'm trying to get through to people is that you don't have to open up a Kudo dojo at this stage.
Yeah.
You know, I spoke to the grandmaster and said, and I think the best way to go forwards is to try to get as many clubs to say to them, like Lee Taylor, for instance. He was the first person to come on board in Wales and say, look, I've got a couple of kids, right? They're like 16, 17. They're units, you know.
Yeah.
They're not getting what they need from their training. They want to scrap. They want to stay with me because they're loyal, and I've taught them since they were kids. But they need a bit more. They want to test their skill. So I'm like, yes, man.
Hey Lee, how you doing, brother? He's just
he's in the house. He wouldn't have heard that. Stop talking about him, right? No, joking. So you know, he's like Mal, like no worries, brilliant. He said, but not all of my students are going to want this. Why don't you come up, meet them, give them a taste of it, and then we'll see how it goes. And then we did this little mini competition, and then I did another one there, and they built their confidence. And then I said, I'm not sugarcoating this, guys. When you get on there, it is a scrap, right? You've got to be ready for it. Yeah. And they did exceptionally. We had a Wales Kudo Open Championship just as a demonstration, and those guys nailed it. So I'm using that as the model now for my first 18 months. Good. So I'm basically going to try and travel around and get as many kind of teenagers and adults that want to give it a go, the chance to do it. I'll get the head guards and stuff, like I said, because there's certain things that they won't be able to get their hands on. Yeah. You know, even like the training, I'll give them things for training. So they got a chance to actually go, right, now we've got Kudo members, and I'll register them with Japan. Yeah. So it'll be fully above board, and then we have like a mini competition. And I'll probably start at small scale. Then what I hope to have then is obviously a scheme of, like we talk, a scheme of work, you know, all the learning going on where people don't have to leave their style of martial arts. But I'm telling you, I think within 8 years, you know, maybe 10 years, because we said 5 years, but I think in about 8 years, I would have thought a lot of people would think to themselves, you know what, I spent so much time teaching Kata, right? Yeah. And these kids want this. So there's a need here, and I'm doing this. Yeah. I think they're going to end up going, well, actually, we either go Kudo MMA or we go MMA. And I think Kudo MMA, somewhere in the middle, and you've got professional MMA. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be more palatable. So
good for, you, man.
For me, I'm getting older, so, you know, things hurt a lot more and stuff. My boys are coming through. They'll probably take the torch from me at some point. But for me, right now, I want to get around to meet as many people as possible. There's loads of good people out there. COVID-19 has opened that up for me.
Oh, 100%.
And that's all I really want to do, you know? Yeah. I don't want to be the grandmaster of anything. I just want to be a vessel, like you call yourself, just as a way of opening the door for people.
Hey, my plan is really simple. I want to basically shed some practical light to karate through cross-training and show that, you know, all the stuff we do has value. So why not we learn, and bring it all back. Right? Yeah, man. I don't plan to leave karate. I live in karate. That's my house, you know. But I have so much fun with, you know, punching, kicking, grabbing, throwing, getting mashed, getting twisted, tapping out. There's so much fun to that. And then just when you go back, it just makes you want to just change things up. It's just you know, to me that's all part of it, right? So here we go. If you were to comprise the perfect fighter and martial artist, what attributes would you throw in there from, would you throw inside, and from where would you get it? Like, for example, let's just say you would take head movement from Tyson, Bruce Lee's agility, Andy Hug's axe kick, you know, something like that. Like, source your attributes. Like, if you were to comprise the perfect fighter, what would that fighter look like? Like, what would you expect to see in terms of attributes for this fighter?
No, it's tough, man. That's a tough one.
And martial artists together, like.
Yeah, you know? But I thought, you know, I was thinking about when you say a fighter, what's the fight going to be? You know, what's the arena? Is the fight on the street? Is the fight as a sport, or is it, you know, what are we talking as a fighter? Okay? Let's talk self-defense. Self-defense. Well, you know, axe kicks and things like Andy Hug's is a legend, obviously. So, you know, I would have someone, if it was a karate person, it'd be someone like Manko Itsu, because he's a very, very structured, very, very clever guy, and his ideas didn't really come to fruition, did they, in the way he thought they were going to be, as in, let's make karate as like something that we can put in the army and make the Japanese go, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So you need someone like Anguitsu for the mind, and Matsumura, that sort of person that kind of understands strategy, because that's going to keep you alive on the street. Jeff Thompson is being someone I've always admired in the UK.
Oh, I used to follow his stuff since the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Love that guy. Yeah.
And you know, and I think having someone like that understands how to swear, you know, how situational analysis, that type of stuff. So you'd need, I think, his attitude and his mouth. You know, definitely Jeff Thompson is the mouth and the look of the person. Yeah. And I think as far as kind of, I suppose we're going into, maybe I like the films, because I like the dream that, you know, there can be a perfect situation, you know, but if you had someone like Jet Li's skill, right? I've always liked Jet Li, you know, and just smashing up, you know, Danny the dog, all that type of business. He would be the speed and the agility for me, and maybe a bit of Arnie, you know, a bit of Arnie, you know, just like Hulk smash everyone. Yeah. He'd probably look a lot like Frankenstein. No disrespect to Jeff Thompson, man.
Like bolts and everything. Yeah, a little bit of everything, right? This, you know? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And Baz Ruten's banang, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, it would be like pretty much like, you know, the best fighters' attributes from pretty much everywhere. You know, good at boxing, good at kicking, good at grappling, good at all ranges. Really well composed. You know, fit, strong. You know, compassionate, family person. Has given back to the community. Somebody who's just like well-rounded. To me, those people are the most dangerous, because they're just good, strong people. You know what I mean? Man. Well, listen, it's I want to say, you know, and I've said this again, but I mean it. I mean everything I say. I'm really grateful to know you. Okay, I'm glad
you too, mate. You too.
I'm glad we met. And like I said, I'll do everything in my power to help you out, to be there. Let me know of what's going on with your events. Dude, I'll save my money. I'll come up and see you. I'll train with you. You know, no, for real, man. I'll do that. I like you, man. I'm really happy and grateful that I've met all you guys. And like, you know, like I took a chance at just, you know, interviewing a whole bunch of people, but it just turns out that, you know, like you guys are just amazing at what you do. Like I have like met so much networks now since these last 2 months. I've touched base with guys that are in New York, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and like, you know, we've got more people now to play with. You know what I'm saying? You know, all the best to everything, man. And hopefully I'll be part of that journey at some point. I want to come up to see you and train with you. And like I said, man, promise, when you come down to Canada, I'll show you a good time.
It's been a pleasure. It's great to meet you, right? And this is just the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, man.
This is just the beginning. Early days.
All right. Well, all the best. Thanks for watching, guys. To reach you, Mal, how do we find you? What are some?
Under Gojin and Kudo Academy. If you can't remember that, Kudo Wales on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm Mal Sanchez-Jones. We'll get it. We'll get it to you. No big deal.
I'll put it all there. And same with me, guys. Chris Hanson. It's basically Chris Hanson's my name. KarateUnity.ca. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All right. Chris Hanson signing out.
Thanks a lot, dude.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself, right?
Have a good night.
See you later.
All right. Later, guys.
All right, bye.